Hi guys, today we are going to see about RO system. As many of us we are still using in household purposes, household RO system. But what we are going to see today is an industrial RO system in the standard that is followed for the outlet spec. Okay, so an RO system simply contains filters, cartridge filters like sand filters and carbon filters, and further we can see that RO membrane filter finally. So these are the three main components that we have. So after passing each of that, what are the output we are getting and why we are using the each column, and also what are the outer spec that we are attaining. That's what we are going to see. So initially the inlet water that we are getting, either it can be a groundwater or whatever the raw water that is available in the plant. So initially the water will be sent to pumps. It will be sent to MGF, which is multi-grade filter. I already told you the multi-grade filter is nothing but it is having a multiple layers. Like see, initially it is having a huge layer of stones, rocks, and it is having like filter streams. When going downwards, it is having like fine pebbles, and then finally it is having fine sand for filtering very fine for filtering all the pebbles, rocks, and solids. It is having higher size, like greater than 100 microns. So further we can use this multi-grade filter. Initially the water will be sent to multi-grade filter to remove pebbles, rocks, etc., like solid materials around. So after that, after passing to the multi-grade filter, it will be sent to here we have two cases. If you use you can use ultra filter or activated carbon filter. It depends on the plant that we are following. If you go for the refinery or petrochemical industry, mostly they will go for ultra filter also. So either they may use both the filters together, or they may use any one of them based on the purpose. Okay, if it is a small scale industry, we can directly go for activated carbon filter. So here they are going for activated carbon filter. Why we are using this one? The purpose of this activated carbon filter is it removes odor and color, and as well turbidity. We can see little haziness in the water. That's what we call turbidity here. So to remove all these things, we are using this activated carbon filter. In this case, few industries they don't go for activated carbon filter. They go for ultra filter. You can say ultra filter, that is used for filtering the water, filtering the particles that is less than 100 micron. Here the MGF and all used for filtering the particles above 100 micron. Here this can be used for filtering less than 100 micron solid particles that can be removed here in ultra filter. After this, the water will be taken to a storage tank. Here the water is called filter water or potable water. Potable water is not the drinking water. It is used for like cleaning purpose, and all. The plant is using potable water. For that purpose we can use this one. And after the activated carbon filter, we need to we are going to use some chemical dosings. It's like the dosings will be there. Anyhow, the dosing, the anti-scalant. Initially the anti-scalant is must. Anti-scaling is added to avoid corrosion throughout the lines while passing through the pipelines. Okay. After that, SMBS is added. SMBS is mainly added. This is sodium metabisulfate. especially added to kill the bacteria in the water. So to kill the bacteria. After that, we are adding anti-scalene SMPS. So and pH correction also will be done here. So after checking the pH, we are adding, if it is more basic, then we have to add an acidic component. So we can go for the addition of HCl. If it is more acidic, mostly the component will be while passing the water will be more basic only. It will not go for acidic side. So mostly we prefer HCl only. So those cases will be very rare. So the water will always based on basic type only. If the plant nature is more acidic component, then we have to go for the addition of basic component. If the water is more acidic, so which is we can go for caustic or ammonia also. Sometimes ammonia can also be used for adjusting the pH. Mostly the ammonias will be used in plating shops where the pH to be maintained because the breading balls and all very acidic. So when adding the ammonia, we could easily get back to the non-neutralized pH, just around 6 to 8.5. Okay. So after the chemical dosing, we are taking it to the anything RO membrane. So we initially, based on the capacity and flow rate, we may have number of RO membranes. The plants won't have only one RO membrane. It may have three parallel membranes or six parallel membranes. Depends on the outlet needed and capacity of the plant. So I just drawn only two for your understanding. So here after passing through the RO membrane, we get the it removes mainly microorganisms and color and excess chlorine and very fine particles also. All the particles removed. If there is something will be there, so that also will be removed. So after passing through the water, we call this we call this as RO permeate. So the highly concentrated water that was highly concentrated particles that is coming out of the RO membrane is called reject. This is called RO reject, which will be sent to ETP. Okay, so that will be treated there. I already explained about the effluent treatment plant. So this RO permeate is called RO water. We can directly use this if it attains the quality, and for safety purpose it also will be passed through degasser tower in few industries. Not all the industries. In few industries they follow the degasser tower also. Degasser tower is used to remove excess carbon dioxide or some free gases will be there. So that will be removed in degasser tower. That is the function of this one. So after removing this one, it will be sent to RO storage tank to remove gases, free gases. Degassing tower is nothing happening, but the water will be sprayed at the top, so it forms bubbles and all. So that free gas, the gases will be dissolved in the water. Whatever the gas, free gas available in the form of bubbles, that will be removed. That's what it is happening. So after the RO, we can use this one RO water. So I explained the flow chart. So I'll tell you what is our reverse osmosis. I'll tell you the concept. What is the concept it is working? The concept is RO technologies to separate the solid particles from the highly concentrated side and removing the dilute side, which is whatever the pure water that is needed. I'll explain you. Just a minute. So So initially this is concentrated side, this is dilute side. So initially what happens, the dilute water, the diluted particles will try to move through this membrane to this side. That is called osmotic pressure, due to osmotic pressure, because of the concentration difference and all. So what happens, we are applying this is called osmosis actually, osmosis, the movement of or equalizing both the sides through the movement of these dilute particles to the concentration side. So what we are doing, we are applying, this is called osmosis, we are applying the excess pressure, which is called, we are applying excess pressure here through a with high pressure pumps and all. So due to that high pressure, the particles try to move, the pure particles, water particles try to move this way from concentrated side to the dilute side. So this is called, through this membrane only, this is called semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. Why it is called semi-permeable? Because it is not allowing the total concentrated liquid to the other side. It is only allowing the part of the concentrated liquid to the other side, not constant part of the particles or solid particles, liquid particles to the other side. So that's why it is called semi-permeable. Only half the particle it is allowing, half the portion it is allowing. So not the total. So that's why it is called semi-permeable membrane. Okay. So while we're talking about semi-permeable, there are two semi-permeable membranes there. The mostly used one is polyamide, which is also called thin film composite. And the next one is cellulose. The polyamide or thin film composite is compared to this one, this is cheap, this is costly, not cheap, compared to this one, this is less cost. Okay. And another thing is that it will allow up to 1 ppm of iron content, the cellulose one, but polyamide case it will allow only 0.1 ppm of iron content. So like this, there are many differences between those polyamide and cellulose. Pressure handling, the maintenance and all easy for this one, like this, long life. So like that, you can get more data in the website. Okay, discuss about membrane also. Now let's go to know the RO outlet spec. RO outlet is mainly we need we are following TDS, TSS, and conductivity. Conductivity mostly we don't check for RO water, we check it for DM water only, because DM water can be used in boiler and all. I'll explain the DM water plant later. So TDS should be, maximum allowable limit is 500 ppm, and TSS is 10 ppm, and sulfur we can go up to 400, and chloride 250, silica okay. And so like this we have more specifications. Mainly we see this TDS and pH, which is should be between 6 to 8.5, so we can take it for drinking. And silica content is also very important, because this RO water will be used for producing DM water. So that should be less than 0.05 ppm. So the silica content mostly will be removed in RO plant only. It cannot be removed in, not much in DM plant. So we follow very much here, because the DM, if the DM water is used in boiler, then it will affect the turbine blades and all. So the silica removal is very important in RO. If it is not much, if we are not going for turbine and boiler production, something like that, so we don't need to consider much on this one. We can go for not like this way, why not way, that will be okay. Okay guys, if any doubts you can ask it in the comment box, like video quality, audio, if everything is okay, that's fine. Thank you.